Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Cheltenham School Board Facilities Committee. First order of business is a roll call, starting with Ms. Murphy.
Present.
Ross Whiting, present.
Daniel Schultz, present.
Zachary Epps, present.
Liam Mulhern, present. Jennifer Lohman, present.
And Charles Burdell.
Dean present.
Charles Burdell-Williams, present. Right, and do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the November meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Mr. Schultz?
It was brought to my attention that I may be listed as the person who made a motion to adjourn. I don't think that's accurate, so I wanted to request a correction.
Noted.
I don't know who it was. I believe it was me.
All right, thanks.
Who was it?
Really?
Go watch the video.
It seems like someone would have done it, so.
Okay.
I think it was wrong.
Okay. Well, I'll watch it tonight. It's half speed. Just to be sure. 50.
Okay, so thank you for that.
Yep.
And we will hold the approval minutes motion until
Oh,
we can
Got it.
table that motion, or we can approve pending the update.
I think pending the update is what I would have.
Pending the correction.
Okay, so it sounds like there is a revision to the motion to include the minutes as attached with the pending update from Mr. Schultz to Mr. Whiting. The second person to adjourn.
We'll get confirmation on that for you guys. You don't have.
Motion to approve the minutes pending the revision of the second individual to motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All righty.
Mistaken.
And
Maybe.
we have one agenda item. I will pass it over to Mr. Dwyer.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Easy.
Good
evening. So it's your lucky night. You get to hear me talk for the next hour. So it's only been 3 weeks, one week of which was a holiday, so no, hasn't been a lot going on. Facilities department, in addition to being down some of our administrative personnel. So the facilities department went and updated what they're working on. They're working on winter preparations, getting the school ready for snow clearing, making sure all the plows are attached to trucks and they work, making sure their salt spreaders are in good working order, making sure that all of these snow blowers have been gassed up, lubed up, and are ready to go. And then everybody knows their assignment in the event of the weather. So that was update number one. Update number two was around our FMX preventative maintenance schedules. So we now have regular meetings with FMX as we continue to implement with the help of Bureau Veritas, the preventative maintenance schedules associated with our equipment into FMX and make sure we're assigning those and tracking those correctly so that going forward, we can provide updated reports, updated statistical reports on the work orders that are completed within the facilities department, what's preventative maintenance versus what's currently due. And you know, as this chart showed, this is the type of thing we want to present. What's overdue? How quickly are we turning over work orders? What are we doing that's preventative maintenance? What are we doing that's regularly scheduled work orders? What are we doing for projects for the district? And this will help, of course, provide more accountability for our operations department that has been functioning as a complete task as they become assigned, rather than plan tasks and plan schedules. Any questions on winterization or FMX preventative maintenance?
How much snow you think we're gonna get this year?
None.
I'm just kidding.
I just have one comment. certain question just around FMX. Again, just, reiterating a comment that I've made previously regarding the importance of a strong preventative maintenance program, right? We've got a lot of new buildings and we're building and planning more new facility structures in the coming years. And the best way to keep them new as long as we can is to be effective in our preventative maintenance and our execution to that plan. And I'm happy that we have a tool that will help us manage that so that we're not necessarily dependent on tribal knowledge or an individual schedule to be able to do that. So thank you for that. Thank you to the administration team for continuing to work towards that.
Yeah, anyone who's been in the high school boiler room knows that the preventative maintenance has been done over the years. It's a pretty spotless area. I've been in boiler rooms with an inch of water on the ground and rusty pipes everywhere. So it certainly has been in good shape, but this helps us obviously keep as a tool to keep us focused, to keep us from missing anything. All right, if no other comments, I'll move on to our construction project update. I thought it might be helpful just to number. We have 5 quote unquote construction projects that we will be undertaking in the next couple of years. It might be helpful to proceed with this format, just go through each month, even if there's nothing to update, so that we know where we're at. So starting with the first one, we applied for $4.2 million roof replacement work at the high school. We were awarded $1 million. Today was actually the pre-bid walkthrough as we rebid that number. As you know, that number was submitted with the application last spring and is now 6 months old. So there was a lot of room built, we think, in that number provided by contractors, and I think we can do even better. So today was the bid walkthrough to rebid that, and we're hopefully by June, we'll be looking at awarding the bid for the partial roof replacement at the high school. I thought, as a reminder, it will be helpful to walk through exactly what the work is. So this is a Google shot of the high school roof. You can see the part, you can visually see the parts that are in the most dire need of repair. There's even some leaking in this part of the stage area that we're looking to address. So this roof is long past its useful life and is needed replacement. You can also see that these sections of the roof are somewhat patchwork. You can tell they're a different style roof than the rest of the building with a different useful life. So these are the 2 areas we're focusing on replacing. This is a definite yes, and this is a bit older depending on how price comes in, which we will talk about next meeting. The next oldest section of the roof is this other white section up here on the addition. That's not part of this project, but it's on the radar for the future. If there's any additional facility improvement grants, we're applying for that. Any questions on the facility improvement grant partial roof replacement?
So the bid process is starting. You're hoping to have it selected by June. That was it.
So today was the pre-bid meeting where contractors came to high school and walked through the project so that they can submit a bid. And then we're looking to have all those bids submitted very early January so that we can award the bid at the next legislative meeting.
Oh, I thought I heard something about June. So I misheard that. I was like, it's a long time. So then we won't know then the timeline until the bid is awarded.
Construction over the summer.
Thank you.
Any questions on the roof? All right, the stadium renovation project. So now that we have our construction manager, we have a renewed focus on schedule and making sure that we are getting the best price by procuring the right contractors at the right time. So we are hoping in June or February to have a contractor lined up to address the turf. So the part of the project inside of the track and to address the track itself. I'm doing my best to trace that. So pretty much everything inside of the track we're looking to procure. We want it all with one contractor, so that way whoever's digging out the ground underneath the turf is also the person putting the track on top. So there's not a blame game if there's any issue. And that way we can get on their schedule in January, February. So typically turf contractors And track contractor schedule line fills up pretty quickly, January, February, early March. If we bid anytime after that, we could potentially looking at a higher price or a tighter schedule in the summer. So at their advice, we're pushing this forward as part of the project, bidding out the earthwork later. So hopefully we'll have that in January, February. And that's the only update on the stadium project since the last time we met. Any other questions on?
Just one comment that I just wanted to put on record for everybody here. The turf is meant for football, soccer, lacrosse, and field hockey, and will be obviously laid out for men and women, and will significantly expand our ability to serve those sports and to have kids play in a really high quality surface. I also want to point out that the renovation of the track expands the track by 2 lanes and makes this track eligible for invitationals. It makes it eligible for collegiate meets and collegiate practices. This is a really high quality track. And as as a school district who historically has had an elite track and field program, this is what our kids need to not only advance and continue the work that they're doing, but to show really how good to the rest of the world that they can be on a really high quality surface. This is the same, it's the same type of surface used in the Olympics. And so when you're looking at kids doing elite things that our kids are doing, this track surface is it. So I just wanted to point out, like, we are not only getting a renovation of our stadium that will help our core sports across men's and women's sports, we're also getting a track that positions us as one of the premier hosting sites in Montgomery County, if not the state for sure. So.
Schultz.
I had a question about, I know there were some choices around the material for the turf. Would the timeline for those decisions being made also be the January, February?
Yes, so we would provide them as an alternate. So we would have numbers for you in terms of these are the options we're looking at. This is the cost of the options.
And then the board would be asked to select, or the administration would recommend.
So make a recommendation, and there could be alternate recommendations.
Yeah, that was all.
Questions or comments? No. Okay. That's a point of clarity. Because I thought we were even going a macro level above that. Like when we make a decision, it'll be a level even above like materials and things like that. My understanding. Like we're not making a decision on which materials will be used. We're making a decision on like the contract, which bid will be selected, right?
Which bid will be selected and which material.
As a byproduct of that, it will be material. But we're not going, like the board isn't deciding, we want option A versus option B versus option 3. We're actually deciding on a much like higher level than it's just like contract as a big.
So this meeting is actually the perfect venue to present that information and to receive your feedback, for us to present information and receive feedback from the board. And then we can present one option if depending on feedback, or multiple options about which way we want to move forward. Which bid package. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, the rest of the projects, not much has happened in the past 3 weeks. We continue to meet weekly for the Cedarbrook and Glenside addition. KCBA has some renderings of some conceptuals they want to come out and present. So we're looking at January or February facilities meeting, have them back out and walk through what those additions would look like. As far as the HVAC project, I'm still meeting with now Site Logic and Snyder Hoffman. That meeting is on the books to take a look at the various options we proposed over the years about adding air conditioning in high school and what might be the best path moving forward. Now that we have multiple professionals in the room, rather than talking to energy saving contractor and an HVAC engineer, mechanical engineer. So if we have more information about how we're moving forward next week. So just to highlight future board action in January, looking to approve this roofing bid and this roofing project, and looking to approve a turf and track contractor as well. Any questions on these particular projects? And that concludes the facilities presentation.
Right. There are no additional questions or comments. There is no question.
It's more of a comment, which I'm not, or it's a question, but not expecting a response to tonight. Putting it out there because I keep forgetting to ask about it. Curious about the status of the drainage issue at Cedarbrook where we were having the flooding. I know that there's some issues around that. I don't know if that needs to be discussed in executive session or what the status of that is, but wondering where that all is.
So it was always, the drainage issue at Cedarbrook has always been delayed as it was always part of the proposed capital project plan. We would do something else at Cedarbrook. So rather than start a whole project and then potentially rip it up again for another project, the idea was to combine them both at once and address them at the same time, which still can happen. But we still have the issue of the permit open with the conservation district. We do have a civil engineer under contract who already has all of the stormwater system scoped, videoed, has a full set of plans in electronic format, and is working on a resolution so that we can combine that proposed resolution with our Cedarbrook edition, make sure we're tackling both at the same time. And this individual has also been, with Chester Valley Engineers, has also been involved with this project for a number of years through some litigation issues. And he's also been in contact with the conservation district. So he's assisting us in rectifying this situation.
Thank you.
Additional board comments or questions? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Zachary Epps.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Epps and Ms. Henry.
That's me.
Meeting is adjourned.